Hello guys, Templar here. Now today I'm going to actually be talking to you guys about a type of anime, and this is the first on history and anime. Now, none of you guys have technically put a comment down below on any of the types of anime you wanted me to cover first, so I decided, well, might as well cover one. I know that doesn't get that much attention, but pretty much is pretty good. And as well, it was actually what inspired people to create a type of video game, or, well, computer game, I guess you might say. And this computer game was called World of Tanks. I guess you guys all know where I'm going with this. Yes, this is Girls Und Panzers. Now, you guys might ask, wait, what? Girls Und Panzers? What is this? Well, to start off, Girls Und Panzers is technically of girls that are going to college schools or something like that, or military schools or whatever. I don't know what it's supposed to be in the type of thing. Anyways, it's an academy, blah blah blah, and technically they're supposed to compete in a type of championship in order to save the school. Now, the series is pretty good. In fact, actually, this actually is pretty cool, actually, because they got German tanks, they got Italian tanks, they got Russian, they even got American. They got a lot of good, badass looking tanks. In fact, I'm surprised they even brought in a mouse. Now, I do love the mouse tank. It's probably one of my favorite German tanks, actually. But yeah. Now, you guys might ask, well, Templar, why would you cover this first? Well, this is actually the most forgotten thing in American history, not just in American, but also in world history. In fact, this is actually what happened. Now, normally this wouldn't actually happen this would actually be like a war game, I guess you might say, but these were more of like military schools. In fact, this is actually during the early era of the tank, such as soon after World War I it ended. This is actually what happened. A lot of people, such as, say, West Point, for example, was actually training a tank corps in their area. And they would go up against, say, another tank corps. This would be like early version war games before World War II. Now, this did last like post-World War I and pre-World War II. But the thing is, when the Japanese invaded Manchuria, the thing is not a lot of people want to do war games with the Japanese, so they were kind of kicked out of the process. But now, Girls Und Panzers does show something else. It shows that people did actually do this, and which, yes, you guys might ask, now I hear you guys, a lot of you might ask, wait, why would they do this in the first place? Well, this was actually meant to show off military tactics and the might of their country. Now, at first they would start from, say, like, as I stated, like one city, or like, say, one type of military academy, such as West Point, with another. And pretty much whichever one was best in each country had to go up into the national championships. And those national championships would be between Germany, Russia, England, France. It would go on. In fact, this would actually be a type of peaceful idealism. In fact, Adolf Hitler approved of it, Mussolini, even Eisenhower approved of this, actually, and including many other people. In fact, this actually even happened sometime after World War II had ended, and it was even used during the Cold War. Now, the tanks that were used were not, well, they didn't fire extremely deadly rounds. These things were like firing blank shells. In fact, one hit, you pretty much end up getting like a splat smoke. What I mean by that is the smoke would actually indicate on who hit the team. For example, say like you were in, say, the Russian team and your smoke shell was red, as for the communists, while the Germans, as you would be fighting for, would either be black or blue, or some other color. This would technically make a very good impression on how the battle would go and how it all fell out. In fact, this was pretty impressive stuff in early, well, history. Now, During this time, though, it was actually a little dangerous, due to the fact sometimes the tanks would catch on fire, or worse, explode. Now, no, they did not actually lift up a little white flag or whatever to indicate that they were out. That had to be decided by a type of ref who would be on the field. Now, though, the thing is, though, as I stated, this was extremely dangerous. People could get hurt, lives could die. In fact, some people have actually even reported of burning because of this type of games. But these games kept on going on from like 3 years after, well, technically it's actually stated like somewhere around 1922, actually, or 1921, leading up all the way to pretty much around, pretty much, these kept on going up until 1973, if I remember correctly. The thing is, though, when we look at these tanks, we normally don't think, wait, why would they still keep using these? Well, here's the thing. They normally kept using old-fashioned tanks just to show people on how good their country was, and still is, even though they are improving on military weaponry. Now, I don't know if a lot of countries still do these, but I've heard rumors that if some people do. If that's the case, I don't think that's probably a good idea with academy students. Because as I stated, there have been accidents with explosions. Now, normally it wouldn't be females, but in Und Panzers, it's girls. Because they don't want it to be obvious on what the hell it was about. But if you guys haven't seen this anime, I advise you guys to look at it yourselves if you guys are major World War II tank lovers and have also played World of Tanks. Now, it's also a kind of really cool thing about this. It has a lot of cool tanks. It has the Panzers, the Tigers. It also has some old-fashioned type tanks. Now, you even do, but most of the time, though, you do see a lot of Tigers and, well, pretty much a lot of German tanks instead of other tanks. But as well, they do have American Shermans, which actually is kind of cool, actually, when you see those, or as we'll even Hellcats and such. But as well, there are a lot of other tanks in there. Now, they do actually have T-34s, which is surprising to see, which is also kind of cool, actually, of how historically accurate they get the tanks to look. Now, though, here's the thing. In the real life, they wouldn't have been firing machine guns. Well, not live round machine guns, but actually, they would have been firing, I guess you might say rubber bullets of some sort. Still, though, it would hurt like hell to get hit by one. And it's even stated that if the commander was hit by one of those machine gun pellets, you pretty much are out of the game. Now, the games were fun, and these things lasted so long. But when it came to World War II, they were extremely cut off, due to the fact war was already happening. Though stateside in the United States, these games were still going on. In fact, these were pretty much going on in Iowa even, and Montana, and including some other places. In fact, some tanks have actually been discovered in areas of Georgia that were actually sometime during World War I. Now, though, some of the tanks that they did have used most of the time were old-fashioned World War I tanks, like light armored tanks most of the time, and whenever they had the heavy tanks, that would be very little time. But the cool thing is about the tanks, they actually had rules, they had regulations and such. And pretty much it was very impressive to see, well, this actually happened. In fact, these were war games just to prove the horrors of war for the normal tank operator. Now, this was actually a pretty cool thing, actually. This actually built a bond between other nations, such as, Germany or the United States. Now, Adolf Hitler did agree to the fact that it would be good for morale for Deutschland to win, and actually they did. In fact, in all the games they went up against the United States, I think, if I remember correctly, they won at least around 3 times, if I remember correctly, but the US won around 7. Almost. Oh, well, technically, I guess you might call that the last one of them a draw, actually, because technically both of the flag tanks were destroyed instantly. And when I mean instantly, I mean instantly. But what happened was, it ended up going off very badly. This happened in the year of 1935, if I remember correctly, or 1936. And at this point in time, the tank, well, that was going up against the other one was between a British-made tank and an American tank, which I don't remember which ones they were, but it was stated that they both hit each other at a very close proximity. In doing so, kind of had the shells rock back and forth and ringing the ears of the two sides for about a couple of hours. In fact, it was decided to be a draw on the battlefield. Now, though, there are sometimes the fact of them procuring a type of base like we do see in World of Tanks. But the thing is about this, you don't normally see it. That's the thing. Now, in Und Panzer, as I stated before, it tries to get it historically accurate to this thing as they try. Which is impressive, how good they make it, and, well, how they did it. Now, yes, actually what happened would be is that the two type of sides would always choose, like, say, it would be kind of like a football game, for example. Well, I don't know if this is probably hard to explain, but yeah, football in America and football in other countries. You guys understand what I mean, like soccer and such. But anyways, what I mean is, you guys know what I mean, right? Okay, good. like say a city goes into another city. It's kind of like that. You're, well, going up against their own home turf. That actually is kind of the thing about it. They're trying to get the people used to the terrain. In fact, this was military basics on a whole new level. But at this point in time, everything was a little different compared to what we know today. Now, back then, though, we were kind of at odds with everybody. In fact, for example, the United States was at odds with the Communist Soviet Union, and including the same thing goes with Germany. Not that a lot of people are wanting for British military school soldiers to, well, or cadets as you want to call them, to end up going to a foreign country and ended up accidentally getting killed from a somewhat live round. Now, though, this is actually an illegal basis. If it was actually found out that the rounds were live, then the entire games would be called off, and including the country that was hosting or the country that fired the live shell would actually be to blame. So, yeah, you can pretty much see why these type of things wouldn't be mostly bloodshed. Though there was actually an accidental fist fight once between, I think I remember correctly, the Germans and the French. Now, the French had light armored tanks and were not prepared for World War II. So you can see what happened when they went up against the newly improved German light tank, who actually got their asses handed to them 100 times over. In fact, I don't even think they even won once in a game. No offense, France, but your tanks sucked. Now, that's not even the worst part, though. It stated that when the French lost the game, they felt so bitter that they started a fist fight against the Germans, which escalated the problems between Germany and France even more. Yeah, it kind of wasn't a very good idea. Though, as well, sometimes, this is actually the weird part, they would even have the games to be placed in territories of the major superpower. Such as, say, if England states that they don't want Germany to be on British soil, they state, well, we could actually have you guys, well, just do it in Africa or India. And, well, Germany has to agree, otherwise their game can't go on. But you guys can understand why a country would do this. Though, not many times you see it, though. Now you guys might ask, well, wait, what happened to the tanks? Well, the tanks would be reused. That's the thing. They'd be kept with the school up until the time they can improve it or get new ones and scrap the old ones. In fact, I don't know if they're still going on nowadays. If they do actually continue it, I'll be surprised. But yeah, Und Panzer, as I stated, is a very extremely good anime for explaining this part in history. Now, as I stated, it was boys that were normally piloted these things, not girls, and most of the time, yes, they did use World War II type, or early, or pre-World War II and post-World War I type tanks. Now, it is stated they could have actually even used lightly armored tank assault vehicles. Such like you might see like a half-track, for example. As long as it had treads and as long as it had cannon, it could work. So yeah, pretty much a lot of those tanks in World of Tanks could have actually passed. So yeah, and as I stated, guys, if any of you guys are fans of World of Tanks, and if you have never heard of this anime, I advise you guys to see this right away, and I dare you guys to name every one of the tanks that you see on that series, because the series is pretty cool, and pretty much it's kind of one of my favorites, I guess you might say, because it's a little hilarious, and it's also got a little bit of action in it. Anyways, guys, check it out for yourself, actually, be my guest, and you guys can actually look it out at any type of anime store or any type of anime site online. And always remember, guys, this type of channel actually tries to find out more about it, but if you guys want me to talk about more about anime, let me know. If you guys want me to cover another type of anime, let me also know about that as well, such as maybe Berserk, as I stated, Sword Art Online, Kamega Kill, or something that's anime related, and you guys want to know, well, what inspired it, well, let me know down in the comments below, and I will get to them very shortly. Anyways, guys, have a good day. This has been Templar. And always remember, my friends, always remember to keep your swords unsheathed. Thank you.